Excited to be back. This place is like home for me. Me and my wife and I, we had a child in Dallas, right up the road in McKinney. We were here in 1819. Coach Kyle Cooper and I, when we pulled up here the Wednesday after Coach Lashlee got hired, we get out of the car and the first guy we see is Rhett Lashlee, and we just hugged each other's neck. You know what I mean? It was just like a familiarity of guys, and you're just like, we were around a lot of the guys that have been recruited in the past. Now, we left when they were coming in, but we still were around them. Like Coach Craig was saying, that you build a relationship with these kids, and you come in, and there's just like almost a sense of like, oh, okay, I know these guys. These guys are good people. You know what I mean? And so that was a comfort for me when I showed up. I was like, there's a bunch of dudes I saw in the locker room giving hugs, and I'm just like, there's a familiarity, which feels good. So we're excited to be back.
Joseph Hoy at Dallas Morning. It was obviously, like you mentioned, you and Kyle, were here, Miami, now back. When was, the interest first started to possibly come back to SMU, I guess what was going through your head as maybe potentially following him and what that would mean for you?
There's always been a connection with Coach Lashlee and myself, and we've always talked about things about jobs and that kind of stuff and how things would work out. I was just honestly excited for him, to be honest, not selfishly for me, but I know how hard he's worked and what his family's gone through to get to this point and all the work they've put in. And so I knew, this thing's about people. You're around good people, you work hard, you do the right thing, good things happen. And when I got hooked up with Coach Lashlee, fortunate enough I was born in Northwest Arkansas, so I got hooked up with him at an early age. Worked hard for him. When I got a job, I started working really hard for him, and good things happened. And so I was really excited when things started. I started hearing a little bit of a buzz and that kind of stuff, and be closer to home. Being from Arkansas, my family doesn't have to drive 22 hours to go to Miami to come see my two little boys, and so to be closer to the family is great, and just be around this. This is an awesome area. It's a great area. So.
Coach Lashlee was talking about the quarterback position, how you've got Tanner coming back after a record-setting year. You've got Preston Stone, who's obviously got a very decorated resume. Is part of your job sort of psychologist as well as teaching, since you've got, obviously those guys are competitive by nature. How do you juggle that with them and their...
I think it's twofold in the sense of my job is to, obviously, like you said, there's a little bit of psychology that goes into it. Kind of being an interpreter of our offense, and this is what we expect, this is what we're demanding, that kind of deal. And then on their end is to bring competitive excellence every day in practice and training, in the weight room and training and that kind of stuff. And that's really what I saw being at Miami these last 2 years. We had a guy named Garrett King and coming in and transforming a whole culture on offense, and really the program, especially in the quarterback room. And it allowed for a guy like Tyler Van Dyke, when Tyler got his chance, bam, he was ready to take over. Well, that didn't happen because some magical drill or anything like that. That happened because those dudes were competing every single day in practice. And now they on the field, they were practicing, but they would get off to the side and they'd be talking to each other and say, hey, Cross, look at this right here. What do you think? They would help. They were working with each other and with Jay Garcia as well, too. So, there's a lot of that in the room, and that's what it's going to take. Those guys pulling for each other, no matter who's in the game. They're like, we want you to win. We're pulling for you. And that's what it's going to take.
Jonathan, I'm just curious, same time with the athletic, curious, how much has the energy changed, or have you seen the energy change coming back now around this program?
Yeah, when we came in at a different time in 18 before, and I thought, the previous staff, we brought in a different kind of culture from the previous staff before that with Coach Morris, and so not that anyone's good or bad, but just a different way to approach things. And I think, as time drags on in certain places, things can kind of, whatever happens. I think what I've seen Coach Lashlee is that guys that they have a trust with him. The guys that we've recruited before, the first thing we did when we got here, I told you, we saw Reggie, and then Coach Coop and myself, and Coach Lashlee, we were meeting with guys, and hey, we're here for you, what's going on, talk to us, and that kind of stuff. Trying to build a relationship off the last 2 years we weren't here, and what's going on in your life, what can we do, that kind of deal. And so I think they've kind of sensed that from our staff. It's not about X's and O's. I know it's like coach speak and all that stuff, but it really isn't. It's about can you get a group of guys to play really hard for each other, and that's the deal. And so I think our players are kind of sensing that from us right now. So
Billy Embody with On 3, good to see you. as you guys start to piece together this offense and what it's going to look like, what have the conversations been like? How much are you guys bouncing things off of each other, and just what's it like in that room right now? I mean, Coach Lashlee has his offense, you know it, probably as well as anyone in the room, and Coach Woods coming in. Just what's it all like?
The good thing is Coach Woods has a background with us when we were at Auburn, when we were under Coach Malzahn at Auburn, and so he understands kind of the philosophy and the run game and all that, and it's kind of added to that when he was at UAB and then at Missouri, and bringing some different elements. The good thing about it for us is we have Garen Justice and Rob Likens that were with us at Miami for 2 years, and really 2 years during like COVID and all that stuff. We were around each other, you know what I mean? Like you weren't going out and recruiting. We were in the doing football, or we were recruiting through Zoom, and so like we spent so much time together. It was almost like 4 years together, and so to have that continuity together makes things a little bit more seamless in transition. Instead of bringing in a bunch of new guys and you're like, hey, what did you guys call it there? What did you call it there? We've all been through that fire. We've all tested things out. We've added things that Coach Justice and Coach Likens did at Miami. Like we've added that at Miami when they were at UNLV and Arizona State. We've kind of already implemented that, and then we've kind of seen what works and what doesn't, and what fits and what doesn't. And so it's good to kind of see the evolution. And now you bring in Coach Woods with all his background with being around Coach Drinkwitz and then at UAB, and you kind of say, okay, hey, what's the best things that you guys do that fit, our fast autumn? And so it's kind of neat to see that all kind of playing together.
I'm curious, if you followed Rhett, for a large portion of your college career, coaching career, I mean, was there ever a moment where you maybe had an offer or someone expressed interest to go elsewhere and you were kind of tempted to maybe, leave that tree, or was it just follow Rhett until this point?
No, there's always been, there's been chances and opportunities. He has been extremely supportive when I've come and talked to him. I was like, if that's what you want to do, and then we have a conversation about it. We talk about it, and obviously I talk to my wife and that kind of deal. I just have a lot of trust and faith in him that he is going to do the right thing. He's going to take care of my family. He's done that, and he's showed examples of that in my past when we were at Auburn together. And he just, football and all the glory and all that stuff's great. Like I'm just telling you, like you find people to be around, and you're just like, I don't, like all that stuff will sort itself out. Like I'm just going to be around this person because I enjoy it, and I enjoy coming to work every day. I enjoy being around these guys, and really around Coach Lashlee.
We talked about Tanner and Preston, but you got another quarterback coming in from South Oak Cliff, Kevin Jennings. You as the quarterback's coach, Coach Hall being from South Oak Cliff, how did you two split that recruiting, and what did you like most about Kevin?
Well, essentially, I don't want to speak for Coach Hall, but he was like, hey, have you guys seen the guy down here? And I was like, we watched him, I was like, he's Missouri State, and it was just like, wow. And then they went and watched him play in a game, and you're just like, dude, what's going on? And I think a little bit maybe in the transfer world, it's kind of, you kind of see like maybe guys get, and Kevin came on his official visit. We got to meet with his family, and I was like, told Coach Lashlee, like, we can't let him leave here. Like, this dude's a big time dude, I'm just telling you. And just talking to him, and really, we were only here about a week and a half, and then it was like done, and you're like, then we actually had to start building a relationship after that. It's kind of, he came in and we kind of met and went through stuff and kind of a little bit of recruiting and that kind of deal. And then it was just like, when he signed, and then we've been on the phone a lot, talking a lot, and just trying to be around. We've hung out and like some stuff, but it's just been like it's kind of different. It's kind of backwards. And usually you build that relationship all year or 2 years. Usually it takes a quarterback like 2 years to build for a relationship deal to get a quarterback here. And we kind of had to do it backwards now. And been around, just talking to him, being around him, I'm telling you, we've kind of lucked into a big time player, I believe. So.
Football-wise, what do you like about him? What makes him a big-time player?
Well, first off, anytime you're a state champion, you're a winner, right? Like winning is the ultimate deal, a guy that can go win. Another deal is a quarterback that's a dude. He can command and be a leader of other really good players. I think it's easy for a guy to be just the top dog in a small pond and just, everybody follows him. But like when you've got other Division I players that are signed with big schools and like they follow you, they come out and throw on off-season Saturdays with you, like that means something. Now, that's something I go in and ask high school coaches. I talk to them, it's like, what is this guy doing? How does he get other people to come follow him, right? Instead of just being a loner leader that just does his own thing, like he can bring a whole group together. And that's what I saw, you know what I mean? Just talking to him, and I was like, dude, this guy's got something special.